Hi everyone, this is Chandra with C. Diane Designs. Hope you're doing well this week. So I want to talk to you today about an aspect of mental wellness. And that actually has to do with things you should do or consider before you quit that job. And the reason I'm talking about this today is that I know at least a couple of people I can name off the top of my head, and several people, actually thousands of people across this country and possibly even across the world. I don't have the global statistics, but there are a lot of people that are considering quitting their jobs, and a lot of it is for good reason. There are several reasons why people may be considering quitting their jobs. The first and foremost reason I've been hearing lately is job dissatisfaction, and that would have a lot to do with the work environment, the supervisor, the person's quote unquote boss. I don't really like that word that much, but their boss. And I've been in that situation myself. Over, let's say, 10 years ago, I had a corporate job. I was a lower level manager in a corporation, and I was completely miserable for the entire time that I was there. The money was good, was really good, but eventually that saying, all money ain't good money, came to be true. And me being a more creative person anyway, I had already left another job before I left a job to write a book. I went back because I wanted to purchase a home and get my financial life to another level. So I was able to do that. And the whole time I was completely miserable. And a lot of it had to do with feelings of being disrespected on a daily basis, of being discriminated against as a Black person and as a woman. And it just got to be too much. And I also came to the mindset that, life is too short to be miserable every day. There's nothing worse than waking up and dreading, the rest of your day. So I took some steps to prepare myself for the departure. Now, in all honesty, you can never be completely prepared to leave a job. Now, if you're someone who's been working for a job, a company for decades upon decades, or even 10 or 15 years, it's a big transition. It's a big move. It's something to consider very, very carefully. So what I want to do is talk to you about the things that, if you are considering leaving your job, or if you know someone that you care about who's close to leaving their job, or they're going to resign, there's some things you need to consider, or they need to consider. And one of those things is look before you leap. Compare your misery now to what your misery will be if you're not obtaining a steady paycheck, and what that could mean for you or your family. It was easy enough for me to leave my last position, career job, corporate job. I have no children, and I was newlywed, so I did have my husband to fall back on. That doesn't mean that things didn't get difficult for a while, but we were able to keep things going. Whether you live by yourself or you have children, or you have a family, husband or wife, something serious to consider. They may be depending on you and your regular salary, and you'll have to consider what that means to them as well. Now, what I'm saying at this point is certainly not rocket science. We all know that we need money to survive. It's just that I'm also aware that the amount of misery one can feel on a job could, at least spiritually, mentally, turn into a life and death situation. Being miserable all the time is terrible. I often, alternate between talking about physical wellness and mental wellness. They're basically intertwined. If your mind isn't right, your health is going to suffer. If your health suffers, your mind could suffer. So you want to make sure that if you know you're going to leave, you do so in an orderly fashion. Make sure that you have a good backup plan. Can't stress that enough. If you have 3 months of savings to cover yourself, try to get 6. If you have 6, try to get a year. If you have a year, try to get 18 months together. Especially in these uncertain economic times, you want to make sure that you're well covered so that the job stress from the horrible boss doesn't turn into financial stress from, I don't know where my next meal is coming from or if the lights are going to be on. My second point, I've already touched on it a little bit. Have a plan, have a plan, have a plan. Now, your plan could be to leave this job and go to another one. Try to line something up before you leave the job you're in. Your plan could be, I'm leaving this job to start a business. Make sure that your business is already up and running if you can, and that you can see a constant steady stream of income before you leave. It's very important. One of the things about entrepreneurship that a lot of people maybe aren't prepared to face or deal with is, getting a paycheck every other week is good. It's not going to necessarily be that way when you have your own business. Now, you could get a paycheck every week. You could get a paycheck every day. Or you could get a big paycheck from your business operation and you may not see one for another 3 months, another 6 months. You just don't know. So always be prepared. Always be prepared. And whatever your plans are, share them with your spouse. Share them with your family. See how they feel about it. Try to gauge how they can help or if they're not going to be of any help. These are conversations that you need to have because unless you live by yourself, what you do affects everyone around you. And even if you live by yourself, if you don't have anyone to help you in lean times, that can be extremely difficult. So just keep all those things in mind. The third thing, and I think is the most important thing, be prepared to supervise yourself. Now, in a lot of corporate jobs, you're going to get a performance evaluation, where you are in your performance versus where you need to go to be promoted, to keep your job, even. So you get feedback from other people around you, whether you're doing a good job or not. Now, you'll get the same if you have your own business, but it will most likely show up in the form of whether you get paid or not. So keep that in mind. The stress level is different, but it will be there. So that doesn't mean that it won't be manageable and it won't be different. I think stress from being an entrepreneur is a more natural type of stress, because it can, if you can manage the uncertainty, it will propel you forward and make you more motivated, dream bigger dreams, and try to make those dreams become a reality. And with the perseverance and the right attitude, you can do that. If you're leaving one job to go to the next, you know, there's the saying, wherever you go, there you are. So if you had some problems on the last job, whether they are due to your own performance or the environment, it really doesn't matter. I think the average job has the same problems. Mediocrity, inadequate supervision, mean bosses, selfish coworkers. So, or the problem could be you, plain and simple. So either way, try to evaluate what went wrong on the last job and be prepared to improve on that in the next job, the next position, the next company. You have no idea of what you're going to run into, and then you know exactly what you're going to run into. Most workplaces are basically the same basic problems. The solution will be how you decide to overcome them. So before you quit that job, look before you leave. Is that job really that bad, or do you just need a vacation or a leave of absence? Have a plan. Have a plan to move forward. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family and your friends too, but share it with your family, because those are the ones that will be the most affected. And I think last but most importantly, be prepared to supervise yourself. And I think that is probably the key to any and all types of success. So I just want to say thank you for stopping by, and I will talk with you soon. Take care.